Hello students, today we are going to start a new chapter, shear stresses. Remember that in shear force bending moment diagram chapter, we have studied the shear force diagram, how to draw the shear force diagram. What is the purpose of that chapter? For finding the shear force diagram. That at every section of the beam there is some shear force, and due to that shear force there will be some shear stresses developed. So at every section of the beam there developed shear forces which causes, and these shear forces causes shear stresses at the section of the beam. Right? But you should remember that in bending moment chapter, when we were studying the bending moment chapter, bending stresses chapter, what we have assumed that in bending stresses chapter we have assumed that there is no shear stress developed in the material. There was assumption, you should remember that we have assumed that there is only bending moment, pure bending was there, we have assumed pure bending, that there is no shear stress developed in the material. This was the assumption while studying the bending stresses. While studying pure bending, that the shear stresses are zero. But it is actually not the case. In actual condition, if whenever you are applying some load, to a beam, suppose we are applying a point load at this point, right? What this point load will do? This point load will try to shear off at any cross section of the beam. It will like to shear off the beam, and due to that there is some shear stress developed in the material. So if I cut this section, you will get the shear forces developed at the transverse section. You will find that some shear forces are developed in the transverse section of this beam, like this. So shear forces are developed at the transverse section. So if these shear forces are developed in the transverse section of this beam, due to these shear forces there will be some shear stresses developed, right? So shear stresses will be developed due to these shear forces, but the problem is that the shear stress is given by indirect shear. You should remember that for direct shear, when we were using in first chapter, the chapter of direct shear, the shear stress was given by force upon area. But here the shear forces are not direct shear. So this formula is not valid here, right? This formula is not valid here. So this formula 1 is not valid for beams. Not valid for beams because the shear stress is varying at every part of the beam, right? Here the shear stress is different and it is different at the other part of the beam. So shear stress is different. Also the force is the total force. This force we have written is the total sum of all forces acting on this section, but these forces are different at different sections, right? Suppose I take a section here, at this part of the beam. Here the force will be different, right? And other part of the beam the force will be different. If I take here, the force will be different. and sum of all the forces is this we have written here, which we had used in our shear force diagram. So if this shear force is different at every part of the beam, the shear stress will also be different, right? So shear stress is varying on the cross section of the beam, and later on you will see that in most of the cases, yes, shear stress will be varying like this. Shear stress variation is like this, right? This is the shear stress variation, right? So this is the shear stress variation mostly in most of the members, right? So if this shear stress is varying, we have to define another way, we have to derive some other way to find out the shear stress at different points of the beam at a given section of the beam, at different points of the beam, at different fibers of the beam, at a given cross section of the beam, the shear stress is varying. So we have to derive some formula for that. So in the coming section, we are going to derive how to find the shear force for this case, that is bending of beams. When the beams are bending, then the shear stresses are developed. Now shear forces are transverse in nature, that is okay, but you know that shear stresses are complementary in nature. So shear stresses, if I see any point here, and check what are the shear stresses at a certain point, the shear stress will be like this, that this is the shear stress, this is the shear stress, and because the shear stress are complementary, so there will be shear stress in longitudinal direction also. So shear stress is not only in transverse direction but also in longitudinal direction, because shear stresses are always complementary. Remember the first chapter where we discussed that shear stresses are complementary. So shear stresses are complementary, so this type of condition will be there. So, and also the shear stress are varying at different sections of the beam at different points of a given cross section. And when we go at a neutral axis, you can see here we have shown this curve, but later on we will derive this, how this curve is obtained, right? So this is parabolic and maximum at the neutral axis, and it is zero at the outer fibers. So how this equation came, how we have derived this that shear stress distribution is parabolic. So we will discuss it in the coming topics, and in coming topics we will derive a formula for finding the shear stress at a cross section of the beam.